We welcome all you people that are here with us this afternoon. This has been interesting. Gerhard has been in a meeting. He's on the UGA board of directors, and he's also the elder hostel guy that does their tech stuff. And anyway, he's got his hands full. He's driving back to his home in Orem right now. He'll be home in a few minutes, but we're off and running, I think. Today is the 13th of October of 2020, and it's in the afternoon. We're trying these a different time. We're working around everybody else's schedule, so and we're doing short meetings. So we'll see how the shortness goes. Now, hopefully, you can see the screen, the Family Search Books screen, and over and my picture is going over on the left. Okay, we are glad to have all you folks here and hope things work out. We want to talk about Family Search Books. There's a wealth of books that are on the church website on Family Search. And this is a poem by Emily Dickinson that my wife, who taught humanities at BYU forever, she died just 8 years ago. This is one that she always liked. And so we put this in at the start here. There is no frigate like a book to take us lands away, nor any coursers like a page of prancing poetry. This traverse may the poorest take without oppress of toll. How frugal is the chariot that bears a human soul. A great poem. Oh, a great poem. Emily Dickinson is from back in Massachusetts. Interesting lady. Okay, we're talking about the books, and the notes are online. They're posted on my website, and there's the website listed there. Now, Gerhard normally does a PDF and post the PDF and the link to it in the chat. And when he gets in his house in a few minutes, he'll probably do that. But in the meantime, if you can get onto your computer onto the uvtag.org, that's Utah Valley Technology and Genealogy Group.org, /classes/dons-classes.html. That's where the notes are stored. And I'll go there and I'll show you how to use those in just a minute here. In fact, let's do it right this minute. I'm going to change this now by holding on the Alt key, go to the tab, and go over here to where the notes are stored. There they are. This is when you click on that URL, this is what they will look like, the notes, Family Search Books. This is just updated. Notice that that's updated today because I just found something about it a couple of hours ago to add to this that I thought really needed to be in there. So that's why the date is the 13th of October on here. Let me take a quick look at this abstract here so that you can tell where we're going. Family Search has nearly 1.5 million books online, and many can be downloaded and used for free by anyone. Some are restricted, but most are available free, and you'll see that in a few minutes. These include histories of families, local county, state, and country histories, biographies, compiled genealogies, data, and just lots more. It's really a gold mine. They're stored in PDF format. We'll talk about the formats here in a few minutes, and they're every word searchable. So you don't have to know which book your ancestor is in. You can actually search for your ancestor's name and find it. And we'll show you some examples of that here in just a minute. The PDFs that the church uses, the Family Search library uses to put these on, or Family Search itself, already has the text layer on it. And what that means is they're word searchable. We'll talk about what that means here with PDFs because there are different varieties of PDFs. And we'll show examples and how to search and how to use the information you get. Now here's the standard. Let's just a quick run through of what's here. There's the welcome and the introduction and the details of it. Online books versus ebooks. That's always a discussion. Do people like to read more books or hard copy books or ebooks? It turns out now that in the United States, about half the books that are sold are ebooks. So it's fairly close to half and half. People still like, and I still like hard copy books, but because of my eyesight problems, I sometimes can't read the hard copy books. And on on tablets or on smartphones or computers, I can read them because I can expand the type and make it brighter. The Family Search Library and ebooks. This is where they've got all kinds of their information. And notice that they now call, they used to call it Family Search Books. They now call it Family Search Digital Library. So that's the correct title of it. And we'll abbreviate it as FSDL. So you'll see that a couple of times further down here in the notes. And that's a link. There's a link right there to the web page, which we'll go to in a few minutes here. But you can look at all these books and see what's there and do the searches and find all kinds of good stuff. Now, here are some examples. You know, when you teach these classes, you use your own family examples. And so I picked out 3 here from my own ancestry. There's Erastus Snow. That's the book that we commissioned in the Snow family for Andrew Carl Larson to write about Erastus Snow. And that whole book, we've given permission to Family Search to list that whole book online. And so it's available and you can download the whole thing. There's a book by Erastus by him also, Andrew Carl Larson, about Erastus Beeman Snow. That's my grandfather, my dad's dad. Here's another book called Valiant in the Faith, and that we'll show an example of that here in a little bit. Most of these books you can download yourself, and we'll show you a little bit about how to do that, and the different libraries that they've signed up with. Now, the formats for books and ebooks. PDF, portable document format, that's PDF. That's the most common format for scanned books. There are other formats, but that's the most common one. That's a picture of the page of each page. There are others, item 17 down here. There are ebooks and Mobies and all these other things. Those are EPUB. Those are formats that are used on mobile devices primarily. Now, there are major differences between those two. And one of the differences is that a PDF is a picture of the page, and hence you can't change the size of the type. You can expand the whole page, make the whole page bigger or smaller. Page numbers are still there, everything the way the page was, but it's a picture of it. These other formats, EPUB and so on, you can expand the text. And so the text can be made larger or smaller. So on a small device, a mobile device, it makes it easier to read and look at. But that changes the paging. And so page numbers mean nothing if you're using one of these other formats. But with PDFs, the page numbers are, since it's a photograph of the page itself, they're there. Now, another thing to keep in mind about PDFs, since it's a picture of the page, item B here consists of pictures of the page. Unless the computer knows that those little squiggles mean certain words, it just says, oh, there's a picture here. And if you do a search for a word and you can see the word there yourself, the computer won't know that that's a word unless you have OCR'd the picture. OCR'd stands for Optical Character Recognition. And that's what you do when you run a PDF through an optical character recognition program. That recognizes the words and says, oh, THE is the word the, and it puts a little box around it and it says that's what this text is, and all the words, and you can do that for any language. Of course, we're interested in English primarily here. So that's the difference between PDFs and these EPUB things. The last item down here on the before the conclusion here is that about the Calibre. That's the name of a program. If we have time, I'll show you that, but I'm not sure we'll have time to say much about that. But it's a wonderful program, and the link is there as to where to get to it. Okay, so now reading versus e-reading. There's the stuff on the formats. You need a reader, some sort of a reader, to be able to read all these books. Adobe Reader is a standard one. The Adobe Reader that is available online is free, and you can download that. It will even do some text editing, but it's not the full Adobe program that will read PDFs and edit PDFs. but the free version won't. Sumatra is another one. That's the name of the program. Nitro is another one. There's Calibre. That's another reader. And there's dozens more readers to be able to get through some of these. And about half the books in the U.S. are ebooks now. All right, now, next item here is the FamilySearch Books. They've changed the name, and the name is now FamilySearch Digital Library. So if you want to look up something on the church website on FamilySearch, it's the FamilySearch Digital Library. We'll show that website here in a minute. The Family History Library started this, and they scanned their books. They decided they were running out of space, and they needed the shelves and the space for other things. And so they started with the BYU Library to scan all their books. And then the BYU Library, which is another large genealogy library, started scanning their books and adding them to them. And then the Family History or FamilySearch started signing contracts with other libraries, including the big Allen County Library in Fort Wayne, Indiana, and half a dozen or a dozen other big libraries. And right now they're up to almost 500,000, 490,000 volumes, books. That's an enormous number. And they add about 40,000 books per year. That means that they're averaging roughly, well, about 100 books a day, I guess. So they're just as an average, they're adding about 100 books every day. So even if you've checked last year, be sure to check again because you're liable to find new stuff. They're all searchable, and most are downloadable. Some are not because there are restrictions, but a good share of them are, and we'll show you how to determine which are which. They're mostly the out of copyright books. So the out of copyright books, then anybody can use, and so those are the ones that they have available. Some of the books have restrictions on them, like only one person worldwide can use it at once. So if somebody else has that book checked out to use, you can't use it until they check it back in. I think it's an interesting idea. It's like if you have a hard copy book in the library, if there's a hard copy book and there's only one person that can use it at a time. And so that's the same idea that is used here. This is the Salt Lake Library, which started all these books to scan. And if you haven't been there recently, you'd ought to drop in and just take a look at what they've got, because it's an enormous place. Now, let's look at some examples and some demos. Here's a book. This is a photograph of a book that I own called Valiant in the Faith. It's a book about the Snow family, and written by Archibald F. Bennett and his daughter, Barbara Roach. I bought my copy about, probably 30, 40 years ago, and it's 8.5 by 11 size. Let me click there so you can see it opened up. And it must be 5 inches thick. It's got 800 and something pages in it, and it must weigh 2 or 3 pounds. So it's not easy to haul around. And of course you can't find stuff in there very easily. I began to wonder, is that book online? And yes, it is. The whole thing has been digitized and is available, and will show by searching, show how to download that book, that particular one, because I have actually downloaded it myself. Okay, so let me go back to the notes here, and we'll start and show you how to actually do some of this stuff. Now we're back to these notes. They're online on the internet, and right down here at the item 8, the books on the FamilySearch Library are in the FamilySearch Digital Library, and there I'm gonna hold down the Control key while I click, and so that it'll open up in a new tab. There's the tab, and this is what the web page looks like: FamilySearch Digital Library. Now you can also get there very easily by going to the FamilySearch homepage, and over here you go down to the search thing. Well, this is one step past it. Go to search and then down to books. The wiki is on here, and all these other things are on there too, but this is the books one. Okay, now as you scroll down through this, you begin to see these other libraries that they have the contracts with. There's the big Allen County Public Library, probably the second or third largest genealogy library in the whole U.S. and Arizona State, Birmingham Public Library. There's the BYU Family History Library. All these are ones that the church, that the FamilySearch has contracts with to digitize all their books. And so of these that they're adding, the 100 books per day that they're adding, they're coming from all these different libraries. Now, here's a search where you search on it. Now, first of all, if you want to see how many books there are in all, I said, okay, well, there's got to be a period in every one. So I'll just search for period, every book that's got a period in it. Click search, and there's all of them. 491,138 results. That's the number of books that there are on this list. Yesterday it was 139,000. They must have taken a book off between yesterday and today. But we're not going to scroll through all 500,000 of these things. But here's where they are and what they look like. And as you look down here near the bottom, well, like this is Western North Carolina history, and it says, this is public. See, it says access level. That one says public. That's one you can get to. You can download the whole thing if you want to. This one down here is Perspectives, News Magazine of the American Historical Association. That one says it's protected. That's one that you may not be able to use unless you go to a library, the Family History Library, or a Family History Center, or maybe even where the library actually has the copy itself. So that says protected in the access level. Some of these others say there's another one that says protected, and so on. Now, over on the left side here, you say you can refine, it says refine your search. You can do it by saying who's the creator of the article, the stuff, what's the subject that you want, or what's the language that you want, or what are the owning instructions, who owns this thing, owning institution for it, or the access level. Now let me click on that access level so you can see what they are. Now remember that we clicked on a period, which is in every book. So we're up to the 491,000 of them. Of that collection, in the public sector, there's 261,000 of them that are available, that are completely public, and you can download, anybody can download them anytime at home or in any of the places. There are 200,000 of them that are protected. The full permission has been given for 18,000 of them, and the limited permission for this many, and member permission. I guess I don't know what that means. You'd have to look it up to see exactly what that means. I assume it means that you got to be in a library or something where this would be available. Let's go back and actually show you a search term. Remember that book that I had, The Valiant in the Faith? I'm going to search for VALIAN, Valiant, FA, Faith, and it had snow. Well, let's see what I get if I just hit Valiant and Faith. What did I get? I got 35,000 books that had that in it, but they're sorted by in the relevancy. So the most relevant are near the top. And so there's the one right there, Valiant in the Faith by Gardner and Sarah Snow and their family. Now, if you want to click on, see, there's the information about it, and there's a picture of the front page. If I click on this thing, I'm going to hold down the control key while I do it, so I'll open it in a new tab. This is what the book looks like. There it is. There's the information about it. And because it's in the public domain, if I want to, because they've given permission, it's probably still in copyright, but they've given permission so that anybody can use it. Over here where it says view all pages, if I click on view all pages, it opens it up, and it wants me to sign in, and because they want to know who you are. And now that's got my password and my LDS account, so that I'm signing in. It knows who I am, and you can sign up for free, whether you're a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints or not. You can always get a free account. There's the book, the whole thing in there, and it says view all pages, 828 pages. I'll click on view all of it, and so now it's thinking for a minute. There they are, And so now I could actually scroll through that and actually download or look at the pages online if I wanted to. Or I can go over here on this side and now look down here at the bottom. You see where that thing is, where it says download, that arrow? If I click on that, it'll say, what do you want to download? Page 1, the one you're looking at? No, I want to download the whole thing. So I'm going to click on download that thing. And now it goes to where I've got it set. In this case, it's going to go to my desktop. And so now I'm on my computer, and look, there's the number. That is what they have. Now, I always give it a name so that I know what it is, because that number is meaningless to me. And I usually put book, and in this case, ERAS, Erastus. Am I supposed to spell it right? Yep, Erastus Snow, and by Andrew Carl Larson. He's the one we commissioned to write it. And then I always leave their number on here so that if I ever get another copy or ever download it again, if I see that same number, I know that that's the same thing. And then I always put where it came from Family Search Digital Library, and today's date, because they sometimes change, 10/13, and it's going to download as a PDF, and I click save. And it says Andrew Carl Larson already exists. Do you want to? Yeah. I saved it as yesterday as a. I saved it a couple of years ago, but I saved it again so that it's there. It is now saved on my desktop, and I now have a copy of that whole book right on my desktop and on my own computer, and it's completely searchable. So that if I click on it to open up the PDF, it's completely searchable. Now we're almost out of time on this, and so I won't take time to go through the others. The other 2 books that I had on there was, one of them was the Erastus Snow volume itself. There's a link there, or you can do a search for it, and it's 830 pages, I think, and download the whole thing, and then they're completely searchable on your own computer. And the Erastus Beeman Snow one is another one that was on there. Let's go back over the notes and see what else we need to talk about on here. So this is all the stuff that we've talked about in here on the examples, etc. And there's information about the partner websites and all that sort of thing. Here's about the formats, and we talked about already about the formats. Let me just take one last minute thing and show you about this program that's called, it's item 19 on the notes, called Calibre. And there's where you link, that's the link to Calibre. And it's free. It's written by a fellow in India, and he updates it at least once a month. And it will not only catalog all your books, but you can use it to convert them from one format to another. So if you have a PDF and you want to get it into an EPUB form so you can read it more easily on your tablet or your smartphone, it'll do it for you, or vice versa. I actually ran it, and let's see, it's I've got it running over here. This is it's got a list of some of the books that I've got on my computer. It doesn't have all of them in there because I haven't added them all in, but this is it. Let me click on this. This is 1 Year in Scandinavia, pamphlet that Erastus Snow wrote after he'd been over to Denmark for a year. And it's now, here's a copy of it. I'm hitting the page down. This came from Google Books. I downloaded it from Google Books. There's the actual, I'm just scrolling down with my arrow down key now. 1 year, this is the pamphlet that they Google photographed it from, I've forgotten which library they got this from, probably says on there. But you can see the book itself, and you can page down. I'm hitting my page down button now, and it's big enough that I can read it. You can actually make it smaller, but my eyesight is getting bad, so I'll make it smaller so it'll be almost a one page on. Mostly you can probably still read that, but I could too, but it's be easier. I'm just hitting the page down now, and so there's the whole thing. And this one happened to be downloaded from Google, but this book is also on the other FamilySearch thing. And so that's just an example of using this Calibre program. And if you want to change it, if you want to modify the book to put it in a different format. These are some of the ones I've been working with on here in the last little while. There's a music accordion. I play the accordion. There's a chord book for accordions, mathematics books. Anyway, you can see all this kind of stuff that's on here with just lots of different sorts of things. Let me just close that and close that. And whoops, it's asking me to, yeah, I got to turn that off before it'll let me close it because it, okay. And now let's get back over to, since we're about out of time, that's just a little bit of a write-up about Calibre, the ebook reader, that it's free and it catalogs and organizes and converts and so on. It's only one of many different readers, and there's bunches of different readers. So now as a quick summary, and our half hour is about up, and I want to make sure that these don't go much longer than that. FamilySearch Digital Library, nearly 500,000 books. We showed you a little bit about searching, and I was going to show you more about searching, put quotation marks around it to simplify it. About an hour ago, just before the class, I typed in my name in quotation marks, found an article that was written in the Jewish Genealogy Society magazine while I was in New York City as director of the Family History Center there. I didn't know it was there. I just found it just a few minutes ago. And so it's something else that I keep finding stuff on it. You can download the stuff and then you can use them on your own computer. Now we got time for maybe one question, because it's already 4:02 by my watch. Do any of you have a question? If so, turn on your microphone and go ahead and ask your question.
Don, we have one question in the chat from Lynn.
Oh, okay.
Any idea when family history libraries will open again?
Oh boy, that's a good question. I don't know. The family search centers, some of them are actually opening for a little bit of people working there in person, but only, one person. The people that are online right with us right now, Bob and Glennis Campbell, are missionaries. They live just down the street from me here in St. George, but Bob and Glennis are missionaries serving right now with the Oakland, California Family History Center. And they're doing it all online. They thought they were going to be down there by this time, and then the COVID hit. And they went through all their training for the MTC and through the Salt Lake Library on virtual stuff. And now they're working with the library down there with patrons and with the, I think Bob told me last week, with the Relief Society president and something in one of the wards. So they're not open. Most of them are not open yet, but they could be. But I have no idea when. Any other?
I have one question myself, Don.
Okay.
The Calibre ebook.com site that converts.
Yep.
Does it take PDFs and actually do an OCR for the ebook?
Yes, it will, and there are others that will do that too. I'm not sure how accurate their OCR is. I usually run the OCR from using what's it called? It's from Tracker software. It's called PDF Exchange Editor, and that does a really good job. And it's free for that part. It's a commercial program, but the free version will actually do OCR. That's another whole story, and another class that when we talked about digitizing other sorts of things, we talked about that and mentioned it. Anything else? Well, wonderful. Well, I appreciate you people being patient and listening, and we'll keep these short so that they'll be a concentrated subject. And so if you are interested, the notes are available. Gerhard, did you ever post the notes in the chat? Did you post a link?
Nope, I've been keeping busy with other related things to this. Been letting people in, including one that entered during the Q&A.
Oh, really? Yeah. Well, we'll get the bugs worked out of this whole thing. But Gerhard is so busy. He does the Elder Quest thing with what do you do? 12 classes per week for the Elder Quest
And
thing.
today we had our monthly luncheon with a guest speaker, a congressman from Oklahoma.
Oh,
And yeah. Anyway,
but anyway, we'll get the bugs worked out. But we hope that this 3:30 afternoon on the second and fourth. By the way, did you look at if you look at my notes, 2 weeks from on the second, no, on the fourth, 2 weeks from today, we'll be talking about the Family Search Wiki and a little bit about that, and then the two subjects are there for the November meeting as well.
you might make one other note also, Don.
Okay.
That's this new meeting ID in Zoom will remain permanent for all of his Don Snow's future family history update classes.
Oh, are you going to use this one? We're not going to go back to my old number.
It's a regularly scheduled. You want to have a waiting room rather than a passcode.
Yeah, then they don't need a password. They just get into the waiting room and so on. And we'll keep you posted though as we send out the notes as to exactly what's going on with it. Thanks,
Good.
everybody. Appreciate you. Hope you gained something from it. Bye.